welcome back. You're joining us for another episode of the Football Hard Talk here on Football Sri Lanka TV. This is the show where we speak on behalf of you, the fans, bridging the gap between the fans and the Football Federation by bringing all your questions and complaints right here to the relevant parties. So now recently, you announced the 22-man squad for the upcoming training camp, which it's safe to say caused quite an uproar on social media, along with the 10-man waiting list. I think safe to say around 80% to 90% of the comments were all about one thing and one man, and that was where is Mohammed Salah. So basically, can you tell us about what the thought process was taken behind the decision of the 22-man squad and why Mohammed Salah was left out? Because I think that's what a lot of people want to know.
Let me first say, I have my own criteria. Now it's not just personal, because you know, with the technology we are tracking the people. Also, half of the question I already explained and replied to you. We are creating the team for the future. Fazal, not only him, Daxon, who is currently in Maldives, he's in that group of the senior players. We own these people a lot. They play many years for this country, okay? Nobody's kicking anybody. So what I heard from the social media about some rumors, you know, even talking about religion, as about some politics, I just can't laugh on that. I'm from Europe. I'm professional coach, you know. I'm driven with the totally reasons, yes or no. Nothing about that.
I think like now, for example, we had the President's Cup this year, and in the Fazal had some good performances, and in the final he was named the player of the final. So I think it's from that lot of fans are saying, asking why was he not included, because he has been one of our best players in recent times.
Two things. I'm a very clear person. I am straight. I spoke with Fazal. I spoke with Daxon in previous camps. They cannot be included in camps anymore. They are proven players. Proven player, I don't need the camp. I need the younger players that they prove. As I told you, I included 5 youngsters there to see what is their potential. Can we count on that? Fazal is 31. Can Fazal play in 2026 World Cup? Huh? No chance. So we cannot count on these people on long term. I'm brought here in Sri Lanka not to work for one day. I'm brought here to make a team for the future. And I'm doing that. So I'm bringing overseas players, youngsters from us, Super League when start, this and coaching education. This is machine engine for the future. So if Fazal, Daxon and any senior player show performance until FIFA games, Super League or something like that, okay? Who is that coach who won't include them inside? But camps are designed for the youngsters, you know, that they improve and prove themselves. So my answer is very clear. Nobody's left over. I watched the present cup. I know exactly. I spoke with Fazal, explained him what is going on. But for the future plans, he's not number one. So if he shows the performance level what we need for the South Korea, all these opponents, he will be included, no problem whatsoever. But on the long term, as I'm saying you, I'm creating the new team. That's my objective. This is my contract.
So that was one of the things I think a lot of fans misunderstood when the 22-man squad was announced. I think some people assumed that squad was for the upcoming matches itself and not just for the training camp. So if I'm correct in my assumption, the squad is not for the matches, it's for the training camp,
no,
right?
That's a preliminary. That's what I'm saying you. If it's for Korea, how I can include 5 youngsters, you know, to play South Korea? Of course, that Fazal will come at the first row.
So what people need to know is that Fazal is in your head, but since this is for a training camp and this training camp is for long term, the senior players are not included because they are proven and they are...
Absolutely. You know, why you should bring a Ronaldo and test him? What is the purpose? Of course, you need a replacement for Ronaldo because he's coming to the end of the career. Fazal, Daxon is more coming to the end of the career than starting career, right? So they are proven. We know exactly. He was with me 3 camps. I saw him during the President Cup. I know that he played 10 years. But for the future, we don't need such players, you know, in the camp. As I said to you, I want to give a chance to the youngsters that we see who will be successor of Fazal, who will be successor of Daxon. So that's totally different that we have to divide. Camp is totally different. This is for me.
So they will be trained if they...
Super League is for Fazal and national team. So until these games in March, we have 3 months. I will watch all these games in Super League.
And they will be included in training once if they are selected into the final squad.
If they show performance.
And if they make it to the final squad, then they'll be included in training.
Absolutely. But who is that guy? But let me tell you something. Our guys are very emotional, our fans. Half of these comments coming because they are good friends with Fazal, this and that. I don't mind. That's fair enough, of course. But realistically, you have to see the interest of the national team. So nobody is excluded over here. Everybody will come. Also, we have some injured players like Amir, like other players who cannot come to this camp, but they are on my list. That's why we put the list on the hold. Don't forget, we have 12 players from the overseas.
Safe to say that it's a misunderstanding and that he is in your head. It's just that...
Not only him, I'm telling you.
Yeah,
I don't want to focus one player. My God, nobody's Messi here. I'm focusing everybody. I'm focusing injured players. Now Rahman coming from Red Stars, you know, because was not available for the first camp. I want to see, was very good player during the present camp, right? I want to give all players who are talented to play. This is their country. I'm just the guy who is deciding. I'm not enemy. So everybody knows that. Since I came, I'm working very hard for this federation, 24 hours, doing 5 jobs right now, paid just for 1. I'm not asking credit for myself, but people should know. Nothing happened here. I have to create everything. Let me do my job. When start to get results on the road, give me decent time. Any other coach before me had 2 or 3 years. You cannot judge me in Corona. You know, didn't have a chance to expose myself. So what I'm trying to implement will show the time. But basically what is my, clearly I want to say, after New Year, I will start U14. The best kids under 14 from academies, from the schools will be selected in the pool. Also the girls. And we will start to create for the future, for 2030. As a national players, then they won't say what is the system, what is formation, because they will be properly trained, right? Regarding current situation about national team, we are doing the best we can, very hard, as I'm telling you. No league, they are sidelined. You know, many of them struggling for their lives, not having jobs. Okay? So then, that's why I started to include our players. I was included in Bosnia Federation as well after a terrible war in Bosnia. All our players play overseas. Then we played in a World Cup in Brazil. I want to make the same story here. So our local players, everybody equally totally treated. We have a system how we select the players, playing style, also analyzing system, scouts. So it's not only me. We have 6, 7 people, including in the coaching staff, who will decide about selection. So it's not Facebook, this and that, who will decide about players. People should understand that. You know, that's number 1. Number 2, these 3 games, as I said, they will come and go. If Fazal plays or such a players, what about the youngsters? They are excluded, no experience. Maybe Fazal won't be for some games. You know, this is a reality. So I didn't give a chance to youngsters. They don't have experience what I'm doing. And so we have to understand selection of the national players, and not like before, this and that, show performance, you know. We need the players who will be able to run 10 kilometers, who will continuously show the performance, okay, and including the overseas players. This is agenda for next 2 years while is my current contract. And after that, you know, God knows whether I will stay here or somebody else, but we need to make a basis, even if somebody is coming later. I didn't have, to be honest with you, whatever I touch in Sri Lanka, I have to create myself.
So, as you mentioned, recently there were reports about around 10 foreign players who were being scouted by the federation who are eligible to play in the national team. Wasim Rafiq, as you mentioned, is already a part of the pool. There are other players, Marvin Hamilton, just to name a few, along with players who play in England, play in Greece, as you said, and other countries, Australia, around the world. how do you see them integrating into the current national squad when they are eligible? What's your plan to bring them in? How to integrate them peacefully into the current pool of players?
As I told you, I have already experience about this process. Was involved in Bosnia Federation. We had the same problem 20 years ago. So pretty much I'm familiar what I'm saying to you. You know, it's not just from a head. You know, in our lives, coach, politician, whatever, experience plays a bigger role. Plus your expertise. So combining that, I'm 60 years old. So much experience about that. So I'm easily, very optimistically going into the process. Very simple answer on your question. These guys are more advanced. They are playing in much better leagues. They are not struggling about money. They are educated. And according to my experience from the Bosnia, when they come here, they even play better. You know why? Because they really they are not playing for money. They are playing for the country because they have money somewhere else. They are secured. Youth development also playing a big role. These guys, you know, some of them we find played in youth for Chelsea, for Queen's Park Rangers, for Arsenal. Can you imagine? So they are very educated people. We are not kicking our boys around, but we'll be, even for our youngsters here, they will play as role models. They will show them, they will share their experience, you know, they will be more attractive. Right now, our players not working, many of them not working, having problems with daily life, okay? Many of them are in lockdown area. Many of them not speaking English. Okay, this is also what we will do. Very important for FIFA games. When you go to play FIFA game, maybe referee will say you something, you are close to the red card, you don't understand. So that's the culture way.
So these are things you're helping.
Of course. Well, I have to correct everything. Trust me, you know, it's not just to pick up the players, is Fazal there, not Fazal. Doesn't relevant when you come to the bigger picture. We have to correct all these things. We need to include more people from outside.
The long-term plan, basically.
But of course, that's what I'm saying. It's 4 years. We are 206. Where are we in South Asia? Tell me. Only we can now can compete a bit with Bhutan and Pakistan. This is our reality. Any other? India is 10 years away from us. I was in 2012 in India, East Bengal club, coaching there. What was there now facing Sri Lanka? So you see, 10 years needed India to come up a little bit with the national team, and having a Super League. 10 years. So what about Sri Lanka? We lost that since Sampath Pereira generation. We don't have a professional football here. That was the last time that we lifted the trophy. We lost that sense. We lost that feeling. We don't have a basis about professional football in this country. Culture is very, don't take wrong, not life culture, football culture, mindset, long term. Youngsters, grassroots, women football, half of the country women, my God, what we are talking about that? Who is ever thinking about women national team? So all these things I have to include as a TD and focusing the national team. That's why I'm saying you, Fazal or Daksan or anybody else, tomorrow Sujan, will in a few years, we need a replacement. Even now, you see in the Liverpool, 28, 27, these stars, Mane, they are stars thinking about their replacement because this is a normal in football. What about injury? What about not be available? Fazal also had some family issues, you know, to prevent him, honestly, to focus on football, you know. But I'm telling you one more time, and I'll finish with this. Nobody's excluded. Everybody showing the performance, deserving to play for the national team. I'm the last who will be barrier that these people play for the national team. But who will be idiot to kick somebody who can play and bring the results and avoid it. But for the long term, we don't need such a people anymore in the camps. We will focus youngsters, you know, that they show what they can do.
Just one last thing about now that you clearly said that there is no favoration, no exclusions. There have unfortunately been certain rumors going on social media and other places that from the 22 squad for the training camp that there looks like, according to them, that there looks like there are favorations for certain clubs. For example, the main rumor is that a lot of Colombo FC players are included. So that there is a favoration for that. What do you have to say on that?
First of all, you know, many comments I'm not following. To be honest with you, I'm getting some feedback from our media, TV, from FSL. It's just for laughing, People have so much time right now, sitting, there and putting the comments where everybody can do it. But you ask me for interview. I'm giving you truth. I'm giving you clear answers. Somebody like it or not, this is from the head coach mouth. So people should trust, because I'm the guy who is responsible right now. I'm telling you what is the truth. In the previous camps, we didn't change. Always contribution of the Colombo players were 4, 5, 6. I didn't create that. Currently, they are the best club in Sri Lanka. If Liverpool is the best club, is it any problem? Is it any rumor in England why 7 Liverpool players included in national team? Nothing. Nobody say anything, but only in Sri Lanka you will hear such comments. So if they are proven to be the best, but that's of course, but you cannot take the people for Serendip who dropped in the first round. I will take the people from Blue Eagles who were the runners-up, right? It's a quite normal situation. They are more advanced. They have the best coaches right now. They have the best facilities. So that's the situation about it. Anything else is just for laughing. Is not serious people. So, I even don't think that we need to answer that question, So these guys are proven as you go by names. Even, I wanted to include their goalkeeper, but due to his work commitment, remember my answer from the first, he couldn't join the national team because he's not a professional player. Not about performance, he was one of the best, but he's working somewhere. So my answer is very clear. Whoever deserved will be included in the national team. Right now is a situation with that. Now if you follow the situation, I heard that severely upcountry Lions strengthened their club. So might happen that they are champions in Super League. So is it a surprise if I include the upcountry line 6, 7 players? But that's my right. But they're coming from the best club. So honestly, this is for laughing, and really is not even time to spend, for such rumors.
So moving on, Sujan Pereira was few days ago announced as the new captain of the football national team of Sri Lanka. He replaces Mohammed Salah and before that Kevin Duishan. He has been captain before, I believe, in certain matches. So what was the decision process behind choosing Sujan Pereira as captain going forward?
As I said, I always go clearly with my answers. As a head coach, of course, is my genuine right that I appoint the captain for the national team. This is my right hand who is working with me. I appointed before Fazal because he was the oldest serving player in the national team. That's quite enough, quite fair. But in the last camp, we had some disciplinary issue with him. Obviously, if you are doing that, and was a really severe breach of the laws. He knows that. I don't want to explain too much. It's not just for public. Then simply show me the situation that the rest of the players, myself, we cannot trust anymore. And that's the big issue, You need a captain who you can trust. Nothing about performance. One more time, please don't forget about it. Then second, not being a regular, I'm not sure that he will be regular in first 11. That's another story, When we will have a competition about local players, we will have a competition in his position about overseas players. I'm not sure that he will play in first 11. Who is not playing in first 11? You cannot be the captain,
yes,
for the long term.
Can I just throw one more name? So before Fazal, Kevin Duishan was the captain of the team, and he has been one of the most consistent players in there. So did you ever consider making him captain once again? Or
to be the captain, it doesn't necessarily mean that you are maybe 10 years in the national team. We need a leader. I'm facing another story I didn't mention to you. We don't have leaders in the team. We have just the players who play that's my another agenda, to bring the people together. What does mean leader? People who trust everybody, who is encouraging everybody, who is performing always at his best, okay? Who is recognized by the fans, media, everybody, We don't have such a player. Our players are very silent, not so self-confident. We are trying to change that culture, as I'm telling you. Everything comes from the youth development before, not now. We cannot blame these players. If my son is criminal, you blame me. I brought him up, right? Not him. When he's old, he's already done. So what is idea? Idea is that I wanted a new story. What happened before, every coach, as I said, Pakirali, whatever, has a choice and has a right to appoint. Now I think Sujan Pereira deserved the right to lead this generation for the next couple of years. Why? As you know, goalkeeping situation is much easier. They are playing a longer. There are many examples in the world. So Sujan with 28 can play at least another 6-7 years for the national team, which means if I stay longer like that, okay, for example, and anybody else will be the same thing, we need somebody who will be captain with me another 4 years minimum. I cannot say that Fazal will be there. So the same thing. If Fazal continue like that, maybe not play next year, maybe not play, so then who will be the captain? No, we will go with this strategy to have a long-term captain. That's why Sujan Pereira, and also on another side, Fazal really had some issues, then we say, okay, maybe it's too much pressure on him. So I'm saying to you, rather we will consider him if he's playing well for the rest of the FIFA campaign and others. Don't forget also Hamilton, who is 31 as well, okay? If he's performing well, I have no problem. Daxon, I have no problem with that. Who will avoid such a people? But for the captaincy, I need a leader. And right now, after whole thinking, he is the leader. Regarding Cavendish, I have to mention just a couple of seconds. Please give me a chance. Cavendish is the most improved player since I came to Sri Lanka. He is playing totally what I want regarding our system. He has intelligence. He is really dedicated. His life is very settled, okay? And he's improving the most. I'm very happy for him. But regarding Cavendish, he is not the leader. That's another story, So when you are picking the captain, you need somebody who thinks like you. When you see him on the field, he knows what must do.
So because you're confident Sujan can deliver your message and lead the team.
Absolutely. Not just that. He has the great influence and the respect toward among all these players. So it's much easier that we have such a captain, okay? And I'm telling you sometimes, you appoint somebody sometimes to be the captain. But maybe it's even worse pressure on him. Cannot handle. Rather to play, many times you have top players in the world. They are never being captain. So that's a unanimous right from the coach to choose his right hand and say, now he's a proven man, he's a patriot for this country, absolutely. And I want to stress you one more time, any other issue was circling on media, faith, religion, this and that is really funny, is even dangerous. This country went through in last 30 years, I don't want to repeat, as a foreigner heard of that. So it's very dangerous, even such a comments on social media. This is purely my decision based on the sport motives, okay? Sujan is the guy who will lead this generation and can stay captain for another 4-5 years. That's pretty much enough for me why I chosen him. I thinking as well who will be the vice captain, but I have a time to decide about it. And I also will speak with the players because this vice captain is more representative for the players. Captain is purely connected with me. So that's another story, but these are the reason behind my decision.
One just on that same topic, is there any decision taken on the vice captaincy or is that still in the process?
Still in the process, because, number one is that you say who is the captain. Because ultimately you're working with him from the very beginning. But vice captain is no big deal. When he starts camp or something like that, then I will discuss with my coaching staff. Then I will discuss with the Sujan as well. Because, if Sujan is captain, he deserves the right to say, listen, who is his deputy? Like me, I deserve the right. Who will be my assistant coach? Who will be my fitness coach? But of course, that's a way. That
decision will be taken once the final squad for the matches is announced.
Of course, absolutely. Most likely I will determine somebody from overseas. That's also fair enough. People coming here that they see. Right now, they are pretty disconnected. Now we created the WhatsApp group with them. I'm giving them all bunch of the information, how we do, what we do, how we play. Very soon we will have a Zoom meetings with them, because we have a chance regarding overseas players that we bring, if we are lucky for the Korea Games, 4 players a part of the Vasim Razik, It happened like that. That will be totally another story, For SAF Games, I hope that we'll bring 8 to 9. And that, again, will be totally different team. So, I'm very positive in that way. Plus, of course, if Super League will be on, definitely some youngsters like Niresh, like these U23 will jump off, emerge, what we are expecting. to join to the national team. This is agenda for national team. That's what I'm saying you. One player, whoever it is painstaking process, gentlemen. It's not easy to me to say, hey, this guy is not included, this guy is not included. I am human. I have a kids. They deserve to be there. But everything has its duration. Coming to the end, you smart coach must have alternative, must have a replacement. Not as many teams struggling, coming to explode these players up to 35 years of age and then start to try to replace. Whom? Because these guys took all attention, matches, experience, right? So that's the gap what I'm facing in Sri Lanka as well.